All right, what's up, guys? Anthony here, Special Analysis. Welcome to the video. Going to be taking a look here at Apple. We are on a daily chart. Did some higher time frame analysis here on the monthly. Wow, that's really zoomed out. And then kind of dialed it into the weekly and obviously onto the daily, which is where we're at right now. So I want to talk a little deeper kind of into where Apple's at, what it's done, so on and so forth. I did a video a while back, guys, because I'm a big proponent of ultimately two components when it comes to trading. That is volume and price action. If you compare those two things together and having an understanding of how those two things interact with one another, understanding support and resistance, supply and demand, those things that also go along with it, but knowing how buyers and sellers interact at certain price levels is really the key to understanding continuation, reversals, and things of that nature to be able to place the lowest risk setups. Because at the end of the day, you are a steward of your trading account, of your brokerage account, whatever it is that you have. And it's your job to protect it at all costs, to make sure that you protect your capital so that you have the opportunity to continue to grow. So I did a video a while back. I'll just touch on it very quickly. I want you to take a very specific look here at this volume bar. You could even see that it's marked off with a red dot at this very tiny little candle. Now, if I zoom out here, the last time we don't even touch that was this big selling bar way over here. Okay, way over here, way over here. But notice how those bars are, fairly decent in size, body size, and notice how extraordinarily tiny this very specific little candle is, right here. Notice how tiny that candle is. Notice all the volume that took place inside that extraordinarily tiny little candle. Like, it didn't move much. The high is 98.4, the low is 97. It moved $1.40 over the course of an entire day. But all that volume was transacted. Guys, that is something called absorption, right? If you're not versed into what that is, I encourage you, take a look, right? Like, if you're going to become a trader, if you're going to go down this road, I encourage you to study two things. That's volume and price action, and all the components that go with both of them, right? The supply and demand aspect is going to come with the price action part, and the absorption and other, types of context is going to come along with the volume component of it. But huge volume, price goes nowhere. Opens at 53, closes at 57. 4 pennies. This right here, and I did a video about it a while back. You can search on my YouTube. This right here is a huge sign that price is going to fail. We are already at an area of predetermined resistance or supply. So all that buying energy, we could not overcome this entire area and continue to push higher. So that's a huge reversal sign. So these are things that we teach at Hawkeye. These are, the components that we kind of build into all of the ideology and all of the training that goes into folks who own Hawkeye tools. This volume print, the way this prints, the way it colors the candle, all proprietary to Hawkeye tools. And guys, having an understanding of when this happens, you can see we have set sequentially lower highs ever since then. Okay, now we are in an area currently of demand or support. You can see over here we had a push up, placed a slightly lower low, and then we made this big rally into where we have failed. Okay, so we want to analyze what price is doing right here and right now, because we really need to have a genuine understanding of what's happening. Okay, so I want you to take a second and just look here at these prior lows. Okay, you got support, you got support, you got support, you got support. believe it or not, buyers even stepped back in to recover this candle before we fell down. Now, where did we come really just short of on this last push higher, right? What was previously support, right, or demand has become what? Resistance or supply. So we've bounced off this area pretty aggressively, and we've now fallen to where we currently are, which is in a state of basically indecision, okay? Couple things happen here. We are able to hold this area, and we pop up higher. Okay? That's a possibility. And if we are able to pop up higher, one of two scenarios happens. We either place a lower high than this candle, probably somewhere in the 175-ish mark, or we continue to do this dance sideways until we break this higher time frame support. Now, if we break this higher time frame support, settle below it, preferably by 1% or more, the idea would be to see this push down here. Let me zoom out so it stops correcting. This push down here into this area. Now, it may not be massive, okay, but it may be extraordinarily calculated, taking a 5.5%, 6% drop into support. Now, I want you to notice how many support channels collide right here. Okay, so this could play big picture, much higher time frame support. So we want to be very well aware of that. So scenario A is we continue to more deeply venture into this wedge, meaning this supplying resistance and this supplying support for however long that may go on. Okay, this could go on for another week, just sideways, back and forth. We could pop up, placing in series another lower high, somewhere around 175, 176-ish. We could retest these prior lows, right, up here in this area, somewhere between this prior high and these series of prior lows, 179, 180-ish. Or if we break down, settle below this, I think that we probably dip into this area right here. Okay, so a couple scenarios. We continue sideways. We're not going to continue sideways forever. Okay, so we continue sideways for some period of time. We pop up and place a lower high. We retest this high and retest this series of prior lows. Find resistance up here, and then we push back down. So either scenario A is we pull into this area, scenario B is we pull into this area on the upside. Okay, breaking this area now puts a run back into this descending channel top, which will descend continuously with each passing day. That's a scenario, right? We'll revisit that if that's what transpires. Or we come down and break through this level of support, we break through all this demand, whatever is pent up here, and we take this squeeze lower into converging areas of support. What's going to transpire? I'm not quite sure yet, but what will I be very specifically looking for? I would say that we have made a very distinct topping pattern. Right? Here's your double top. Right here is your neckline. Okay? So if you're looking at this from a double top perspective, you have a high, a lower high, a lower high, a low, a lower low, a lower low. You have a reversal, massive impulse. Here's your higher low, right? Where what was previously resistance now provided what? Support, right? This is very basic price action. Right? What was previously resistance here, once broken, provided support for the push back into this prior high. And then we have since then placed lower highs and lower lows. And we are now down back into this area. If this is a big picture topping pattern, which it very well could be, breaking this neckline would be quite significant. And again, seeking support somewhere in this area would also be quite significant. If we were to break this area of converging support, we could start looking at 150 is going to play a psychological number. 145, somewhere in the 130 mark. But we'll do the analysis a little deeper when or if we get there. But for the moment, we could continue sideways until we don't. And if we break higher, I am looking for either a lower high, okay, or a retest of this high or these prior lows that are slightly above it. This area could provide a good opportunity to short the market back down into support, okay? Because ultimately it really comes down to, can we break this topping pattern? So until proven otherwise, and proven otherwise would be a newly placed higher low. All right, you can see we have essentially a very short-term double bottom here. Right, I would want to see an impulse, a correction, a new higher low, and then an extension up through this area and into this area. But for now, that's the scenario. Upside is either a higher low or a retest of the prior high. Downside, I would like to see a 1% price settlement on a daily basis, a daily close below this level, preferably below this level, because this is key. This is a neckline to a very large time frame double top, and then see how price kind of plays its way into this area. The S&P and the NASDAQ have shown that they've been under some significant pressure lately. I do think we are currently sitting in an area of support or demand. So for that in its very self, I am a little concerned about having some consideration for entering Apple at the moment, because I do think that this is a pretty clearly defined area where buyers have found value in entering this stock. So I would avoid trying to potentially short at this point. And like I said, if we do break this channel line and settle above it on a daily basis, we could consider trying to buy into either a higher low, a short-term higher low, or a double top, or even testing these lows slightly above. So for right now, as long as we kind of continue to flow into not only this area of demand or support, but kind of flow into these two converging higher time frame channel structures, I think we stay in a period of indecision. And then basically, however we break out of this area, right? Like this, we have almost like a flag shape or pendant shape area. I'll just kind of highlight it so it's a little more pronounced. However we break out of this area will provide us with the next expectation. An expectation of placing a higher low, or I should say a lower high, sorry, or an expectation of retesting this high or these prior lows, or an expectation of breaking down through the neckline and into these converging support areas. So just want to take an opportunity, shoot this video, give you a little update, give you a thought process here on what I'm seeing on Apple. I know this is a highly traded stock. Just wanted to kind of give you guys some thoughts. Hopefully it's informational and educational. Of course, that's what it's designed to be. But for the moment, as we see the market move, we do know that this is obviously a super large cap stock. So it does play a very vital role in what we're going to see play out in the indices. So just a heads up, I will update this video as things progress a little bit, and just give you, some of my continued thoughts. So again, if you find this informational, if you enjoy it, just appreciate a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. My goal is to provide, educational in nature content for folks who are currently trading, looking into getting trading, whether that's day trading, swing trading, position trading. I'm a big proponent of volume and price action, and my goal is just to simply share some of my experience with you guys, so to hopefully help your learning curve shorten. God bless. I'll see you in the next video.